A great round today, Matt, but yesterday to finish at 2 under in those horrendous conditions, that really set today's round up, do you think?
Sure. Yesterday was hugely difficult, and I was awfully pleased to shoot 2 under par in yesterday's conditions. I thought they were extremely challenging, particularly starting on the first hole. Saw a quadruple bogey. I'd made a 10-footer for bogey there. Just getting through a couple of those opening holes were really tricky, and to end up under par yesterday I thought was a great score. That certainly helped with getting me in good position to have a nice day today. Today felt easy compared to yesterday.
Can I have some questions, please, from the floor? Martin.
Matt, have you just been able to roll on from Mayakoba? Is it just kind of the same kind of thing that we're seeing, or are you sleeping okay?
Mayakoba had pretty still conditions. There wasn't much for wind. I played as well as I remember playing for 3.5 rounds. Coming here yesterday, trying to play in the wind is just a whole different animal. You can be hitting it good, but you really got to be in full control of your golf ball with that much wind in play. So I didn't feel like I was nearly as sharp as I was in Mexico, but I think a large part of it was the conditions. Today, with some easier conditions, I felt the game was a little easier today, which it is. You're going to see a lot lower scores today than you did yesterday. But there's confidence, but the confidence comes from some good play.
Matt, you strike me as a grinding type of player, never prepared to give up, but how satisfying was it when you got home last night, back to the hotel room, to realise that you dodged a bullet yesterday by just grinding out that round?
Yeah, it was really tough conditions. Like I said, I'm hugely pleased with 2 under par. It was one of those days where you could easily see high numbers be posted. There are tons of trouble on most holes where, if you could just avoid the big numbers. I saw the defending champion Cameron Davis make a couple big numbers, and they were out there. Still some out there today, but yesterday in particular, I thought the conditions were just that hard. Anything around par was a very respectable score, and to shoot 2 under was quite pleasing.
Matt, it's only Friday.
Microphone, please. Thank you.
Sorry, mate. I've got the microphone. It's only Friday, but you're very well positioned. Without preempting anything, when was the last time you went back-to-back winning titles?
Oh, must be playing against my dad when I was 14, maybe. could be the last time.
You're obviously in a very good headspace, though. I mean, it's next 2 days now. The confidence is high. Yeah, absolutely. I know there's great players here. I don't expect 700 to be leading at the end of the day. I expect to be a few behind. But after two rounds, I'm awfully pleased with my positioning, pleased with the state of my game. Very, very much looking forward to the weekend, keeping myself in contention and trying to go back-to-back.
And I wonder if you're able to isolate a shot or two today that really stood out in your own mind as to quality shots that you're very happy with.
Must have been the 5th was one of my better shots. It was a back right pin on the 5th. I only had 144 yards to the hole. Just chipped an 8-iron, thinking 9 may bring in the front bunker. There was a little wind in off the left. And the shot, the pin, all kind of fit my game, the shape of the shot I hit. But when I hit it, I knew immediately it was a great shot. I was pleased. I felt like I was taking risk out of play by hitting a little late as opposed to trying to force a 9 back there. When I struck it, I knew it was perfect, and it ended up 3 feet under the hole. Just one came off, and in the air, knew it was good. They're good feelings when you hit a shot and execute it just the way you want to, and that one came off perfect. That was definitely a highlight. You think of the others. There was a great save. It actually was a a bogey, but the 17th hole, I hit my second shot in the water, went up, took a drop, risky shot, trying to put my fourth onto the green. I hit a fantastic shot from, I think it was 222 into about 12 feet. I missed the putt, but it was one of my better shots of the day under the circumstances. Having just put one in the water, still hazards abound, kind of everywhere on that fourth shot for me. So that was one I was really pleased with. Still, I figure it's a bogey, but it was a good bogey. That was a nice shot for me as well.
Matt, a lot's been made of the big-name Australian players who aren't here. As the highest-ranked player and one of the marquee foreigners in the field, did you feel any sort of extra sense of responsibility to make sure that you deliver?
No, when you travel abroad, you certainly hope. I mean, it's a commitment to make this trip, and you don't want it to be for naught. You kind of hate to make this trip and not be able to play the weekend. But yeah, I think I've played enough golf. I've been around enough to know that you can't force anything. There's no demanding. I have a number of events that are sponsor titled. From the Bridgestone Invitational to the RBC Heritage and the Canadian Open, and you certainly have extra hopes to do well there, but you know better than to try to force anything in the game of golf. We all love to be playing our best golf in the majors. It doesn't always work that way. So I think I'm pretty good at managing the expectations. Sure, I'd love to play well this week. It's a big commitment to make it down here, but I'm not that demanding or forceful that I must play well or have to. 'Cause I never think those end very well.
Next question.
Kuch, can you talk about how hard it is to make that dash from Mexico down here and continue to play well when you're jet lagged, and golf is such a mental game and you have to fire up, especially in the conditions you faced yesterday?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm so pleased with the state of my game, the form, the work I've put in to develop a swing that I think's pretty repetitive, regardless if I wake up on the right side of the bed or not that morning. I feel like I know how to manage the game pretty well, and I have a swing that repeats well enough to play well most weeks. And that's been a handy thing. That's been something I'm awfully proud of, and to be able to come down. There's definitely a bit of jet lag that's involved, but the ball's sitting on the ground, and it's there for you to hit it, and if you put a good swing on it, it does what it's supposed to do. And so I try to make the game as simple as I just explained. But we all know the game is awfully complicated. There is an element of timing. There is an element of luck involved. But I've tried to minimize those, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job of that.
It's not uncommon just to follow up, it's not uncommon on the USPGA Tour for a winner to sort of bail on the commitments to a tournament the following week, but are you glad that you followed through and came down now after winning in Mexico, now that you're in contention?
I would never bail, but I was looking forward to this event. I'm still glad to be here. I hope to see a bit more sunny skies here in Sydney. That would be more pleasing, but I've been excited for this trip for a while, and certainly still glad to be down here.
Martin.
Matt, we hear it on the TV all the time. I'm just wondering whether all the way down here in the Southern Hemisphere, the Kuch chant gets a run. Have you heard any of that at all?
I've heard a bit. It's not in full force yet. Hopefully on the weekend they come with a little more noise.
But are you still a resident of Sea Island?
That is home.
Forgive me if this has been covered in the last couple of days, but was it a difficult decision for you to make? Obviously, there's a PGA Tour event there this week. Was it tough for you to make that decision?
Yes, that is a tough one. It's a hometown event. It is hard not to be waking up in my own bed supporting the hometown event. But this is a trip that I saw on the radar, got excited about the opportunity to play here, play World Cup. It's just a great 2 weeks, a great adventure for the family. And I think talking to all the guys involved with the tournament, everybody understands Davis Love better than anybody. That I've played that event a lot, and if I need to miss it this year, it's okay. They hope to see me again next year, but yeah, it's nice to have a guy like Davis running the event that understands the travel and the different pulls from different events. So it was, I think, just a whole lot easier having a tournament director that is a player like Davis.
Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? No, thank you so much for coming in. We hope to see you tomorrow.
I hope so.